Today is July 22nd. I'm going to do a little update, but this time is my favorite, occupation. I'm gonna try and do harvest as I go along. So I have my container, I have my clippers. I'm going to try and film, but also point out what I have. You can see there's a lot of hot peppers formed. I don't know which ones they are. There are two big peppers back there, and I'm gonna harvest one of them today. It's big enough. So here we go. Here's the pepper I just cut. I'm also going to clip a little bit of basil. You can see I have a lot of it. So just enough for a taste for my salad. You can see my cabbage is forming its head. Now, this was the tomato that was really sick for a while, and I thought I was going to have to pull it out, but you can see all the new growth. It's nice and healthy. Lots of buds forming, so it definitely kicked the virus, and it's progressing really nicely. Nice healthy leaves. My dill has gone into bloom, which is great because I'm gonna pick some of the seeds, but I'm also using them for pickling. Here is the tumbling tom that my sister gave me. Also lovely. The flavor is a little too mild for me. It doesn't have a lot of signature to it. So as we go to the other side, there's a lot of peppers here. They really took a beating from the last few days of intense heat. They kind of wilted, but they're recovering. There is a pepper that I'm going to pick here. You can see it's easily comes off. There is also this pepper. Also going to pick it off. I'm actually going to add that pepper to my pickling cucumbers. There's some nice chilies here. You can see I already actually picked some of the chilies from here, but there is two large ones and a whole lot of small ones. So I'm going to pick one of the large ones. Easily comes off. Nice deep color. So this was the branch of tomatoes that got broken off from the tumbling tom, and you can see the tomatoes that were on it are actually growing now. They used to be teeny tiny, so it's a healthy plant. It's growing and it's full in production mode. My watermelon here really took off. It's climbing. Should have shown you the watermelon while I was on the other side. It formed a tiny melon. Oh, here it is. There it is. More cabbages forming heads. So lots of changes here. Here are some of my beans. And I'm going to pick some of these tomatoes. There are two varieties here. We have these lovely golden color ones. Absolutely delightful, wonderful flavor, perfect acidity balance. It's awesome. There's some more here and back there. I also have this nice red one. Now this red variety doesn't have a lot of flavor, so I'm not saving it for seeds. I'm not impressed with it. Now here is my watermelon patch. I have 2 pots here of one kind and then the other kinds back there. This watermelon is actually lawn. So let me show you what it looks like. Oh, can't get my camera to focus for some reason. So I'm gonna pull back and I'm gonna come back again. Well, it's not focusing, but you can see what it is supposed to be. And back there is another watermelon formed already. You can see it back there. So that's one variety. You can see they definitely took off. For a while they were very stagnant, but there is a lot of growth, nice large leaves, so the plant is able to support the fruit. This tomato plant is not quite ready to be picked. It has a lot of flowers and a lot of fruit on the bottom, which, as you can see, the tomatoes on this one have just started turning color. So not quite ready to be picked yet. Next time. But next to it, there is a tiny watermelon here. And there is a much bigger one hanging. So in about 3-4 days I'm going to have to provide some support for it. Now on the opposite side, I'm going to try and show you what's going on here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's all on one line. So 4 watermelons in one line. Now back here, these watermelons formed first. These are round watermelons. Look at that beauty. Now, that's a nice watermelon. It's about the size of a tennis ball now. And then down here there is another one, and this is the size of a golf ball. Back there is another watermelon back here, but it's still small. For some reason it's not increasing in size. Hopefully it will continue to grow. Now these tomatoes are medium-sized salad tomatoes, but they're not ready to be picked yet. And the tomato has given more flowers, so it's going to produce more fruit. For a while these plants were very sick. This was a pepper that was really sick for a long time, but you can see it's gone into bloom, so it's recovered and it's finally gone into production mode. My carrots are here. Here's my menagerie of cantaloupes and eggplants and peppers. So starting with different melons, you can see how big they get. These are the oblong one. There's one here, one back there. There are actually quite a few melons here. You can see one. There's 2 right here. There's this one, that, and back on the other side of the trellis there is a whole bunch of other ones. In the meantime, I have these eggplants. I just spoke to the two larger ones, and this is the one that was just formed a few days ago. I have nice peppers. One of the peppers is beginning to turn color. You can see from here it's yellow, so I'm gonna have yellow pepper soon. I have this eggplant that's gonna be ready to pick in another day or so, and then Rosa Bianca behind it, also growing nicely, but not quite ready yet. And unfortunately, the other Rosa Bianca had rotted, and I don't know why. I need to figure it out. So back to our harvest. I have brand new tomatoes for me on this big one, and a lot more flowers, so it's full in production mode again. And I have a lot of these black cherry tomatoes, so I'm gonna pause for a second while I'm picking them, but you can see they're loaded. The plant is really loaded with them. So I picked a few of the cherry tomatoes, but obviously there's a lot more that are ripening. They're not quite ripe yet, so I'm gonna let them finish ripening, and hopefully they're gonna be tastier. Now here I have others that are turning. Nice colors. And you can see back here, these have turned. Actually, I've already been picking them, so there's only 3 left on this one, on this branch, on this truss. So very nice tomatoes. And I'm going to transition in here. There's another tomato here, and 2 back there. So you can see lovely color. These I've been picking. They really produce fast, so I've been picking them pretty much every day now. And there's another one. It looks like another black cherry, and this is the one that's ultra full, so it has a lot of trusses. And I'm gonna let this first one go riper a little bit longer so I can pick it for seeds. I really like this variety. Now here I have a lot of greenery. Those of you who have been following my videos probably have seen that I have a bunny that gave birth in this bed. So I have a bunny nest. They're right there. They're now big enough that they no longer fit into the original hole, so hopefully she's going to increase the hole when she comes to feed them. I also have shown you before that I have some swallowtail caterpillars that were eating my carrots. Well, some of them have transitioned now and became cocoons. So hopefully they're going to form a caterpillar soon. I'm not going to touch anything here so I don't disturb the babies. My squash and cucumber. I have another cucumber apparently there. It's also growing. My tomato is growing well. So this was the replanted potatoes. As you can see, there is a nice verdant growth on them. But those potatoes are dying off, so in another 2 weeks or so they will be completely dead. I'm gonna let them finish, and then I'm gonna pull them out and take all of those cabbages that did not make it. These cabbages really have not changed in the last 3 months since I planted them. So I'm gonna transplant them in here, and hopefully this soil is a little bit better for them. We'll see what happens. So this is my harvest so far. Now here I have more beans, and I planted a second batch of cucumbers. They're already getting tall, and I put some trellis for them, so hopefully they're gonna start climbing soon. The reason for that is these cucumbers are kind of wilting down. They've really cut down on their production. So as much as I like them, I'd like to have a little bit more cucumbers than that, even though I really have been getting a lot of them, and I've already pickled a nice jar. So before I move, there is some more blueberries. So something affected my blueberries, and instead of growing in size, they just all turn blue. Or trying to ripen, but they're really not sweet. So my guess is the soil acidity is off. I'm gonna have to check it. Anyways, so back here, as you can see, I'm still getting quite a few cucumbers here. So they're still producing. They're just not producing as many as I'd like them to do. So here is a nice one. There is some nice ones back there. And there is another cluster back here. And of course these are the ones, this is the one that was severed. I have now completely disengaged it from the jar. It's growing on its own with the new root system. Oh, and there is a lot more here. So this is the severed one. Again, nice cucumber that's going to be ready in about 2 days. And a lot of small ones. So lots of development. But also here I have a large tomato plant. You can see these beautiful orange tomatoes. They are absolutely wonderful. They're so tasty. Lovely, perfect texture and perfect taste. I absolutely adore these. So I'm leaving one so it can ripen a little bit more and I can get seeds out of it. But the rest I'm going to be picking as they ripen. And you can see I have a lot more flowers on them, so they're still in full production mode and there is more ripening. And then transitioning in here, there's another one of my cucumbers. These are pickling cucumbers. I actually picked enough from this plant. There are 2 plants here. So I picked enough small cucumbers to create a small batch of salted or fermented cucumbers. And I will show you once I get inside. But you can see it's also in the full production mode. So lots of cucumbers forming. Nice and rapidly growing. Again, I've been picking a lot out of it, so I'm very happy with this plant. But hopefully it will continue to grow, and you can see it has more cucumbers forming. So, and with that, and a couple of shots of my flowers. I have beautiful hollyhocks, white and red, scarlet, so they're nice contrast to each other. More to be blooming. Again, something killed all of these